one of the generation's most courageous thought leaders in the world of finance, in the words of futurism, and in the world of critical analysis, is with me on today. Affectionately, he used to be my little brother, but now he's looking me in the eye. I am so glad to have Anthony O'Neal with us on today.
You still my big brother.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Let me hold something.
Hey, man, well, you got it.
Yeah.
I actually gonna have the shoes, and you told me I couldn't.
No. Just I'm an adult side. But I'm going to go backwards because of what a lot of you may not know is where I met Anthony O'Neal. He was a youth pastor. He was not there. I don't know if you even remember the call you made to me that you were getting ready to leave and you weren't sure what Bishop was going to say.
Absolutely. I was nervous.
Yes.
That was one of your close friends.
Yes.
And I said, I need wisdom on how to do this right.
Yes. I want you to really walk the people through on how finance is a ministry, how coaching is a ministry, and ministry in this landscape does not require a microphone.
Yeah, you know, when you and I first met, I was a youth pastor for one of the greatest bishops in the world, Bishop Rudolph McKissick Jr. And the reason why we grew such a strong youth ministry was because on Wednesdays, he allowed me to teach practical skills.
Yes.
And teaching practical skills, I was teaching money.
Wow.
I was teaching them about what is a credit card, what is how to get your college finance, how to even go out on a date, and how should the young man pay for the date.
Right.
And so what I started learning was, wow, young people and people want to learn about money, but they're not really getting the education at school. They're not getting the education at home. And unfortunately, we can't give them everything on Sunday mornings from the pulpit. This information is needed, but no one's really teaching it from a biblical perspective.
Right.
So that's when I started realizing my ministry wasn't necessarily with the mic preaching the way, Dr. Jamal Bryant can preaching the way a Dr. Bishop Rudolph McKissick can preach, because I'm not y'all. Right. But God gave me the gift to understand money and how to teach that from a biblical way. So I said, okay, God, let me start pursuing that. And then I started noticing while we were touching maybe about 1,000, 2,000 kids throughout the week, throughout the ministry there, God is saying, I called you to touch not just kids, but people.
Wow.
Millions via a different megaphone, which was YouTube, which was podcasting, which was going around the churches and teaching. But he really called me outside of the four walls of the market of the ministry to get into the marketplace ministry. And it's been absolutely amazing.
One of the most painful conversations that we've had that haunts me to this day is when you left that church, you went to partner with an amazing organization that did national, even international financial planning.
Yeah.
And you called me one day and said, Jay, I need you to help me because the people who I'm working with are finding no success in black churches.
Absolutely.
That black churches don't want to do what's needed and necessary.
Yeah.
And even where I was pastoring at that time, we couldn't get it off the ground, couldn't make it work. I want you to really talk through why is it such a cinder block for black churches to really go into that lane of financial literacy when it ain't hard for us to ask people to tithe. Hindsight, because you're not working full-time in a church, you're no longer with that organization.
Right.
And so you got, outside of Farrakhan, you the freest black man in America.
Hey, man.
Tell me why we having this level of issue.
Since we are on the Let's Be Clear.
Yes.
I want to be super clear. And please correct me if I'm wrong, because you're in this seat. I think the reason why the black church is having a hard time of accepting what I am bringing to the table, what other organizations are trying to bring to the table, is because a lot of the senior leadership of that church are not in a good, healthy place financially as well.
Wow.
And so because they're not in a good, healthy financial place, they don't want to be held accountable. And so now they stop it from going into their church, right?
Yeah.
Particularly to get the education. That wasn't you, because when I called you and said, hey, I need help, you invited me into the church the very next week.
Right.
Say, hey, yo, come on, talk.
Right.
Let's do it. And so what I'm learning, when they are healthy, they accept it, they teach it. When they're not healthy, when they are struggling, when there are some issues around that area, they don't bring it in. And then what happens is we all know this. Whatever's starting from the head is going to come all the way down.
Right.
So now we're teaching a group of people in our communities, in our church, that finances are not important. As long as you're tithing, as long as you look good, as long as you have the nice cars, as long on the outside you look a certain kind of way,
Yes.
it doesn't matter what you actually are on the inside. And if I rewind, that was my problem.
Wow.
If I go all the way back to when I was 18, 19,
Yeah.
my mom and dad never taught me this stuff because they were living paycheck to paycheck. They were struggling.
Right.
So they couldn't teach me something that they could not do themselves. And so then what happened to me? I started struggling. I became homeless. I started looking good on the outside, but on the inside, I was broke. And if we're going to really be real, I was broke because I was trying to impress ladies.
Wow.
I was broke trying to impress my friends.
Yeah.
I was broke trying to join one of the baddest fraternities in the world.
Yes.
You know,
That's not why you went broke. Let's not do that. Don't do that. But go ahead.
you know, but it's like for me, I started trying to impress people.
Yeah.
Rather than just accept a call over my life.
Yes.
Rather than live out the fruit that I know God has called me to. And I think that's why within the African-American church, we're having a hard time because we're really not really saying, you know what, y'all, if we can help our people get good at home, then our churches will be good. My pastor to this day has never had to ask me for any more money. He's never had to say, Anthony, we need this. Why? Because at home, I'm good. So when he puts out the call, we're building a brand new church.
Yeah.
I committed to $1 million over 4 years.
Say that again slowly.
I committed to $1 million over 4 years.
For you to give.
Me personally, not my business, Anthony Bernard O'Neill. Why? It's because at home, I'm good. And what I'm seeing is when people are good at home, when we can help people get out of consumer debt, get control of their finances, giving will never have to be a hard stretch from the pulpit.
Yeah.
I went to this church. I won't say the name of the church, but it's a white church. And there's so many different dynamics, and you know this much better than me. Of course, we have systemic racism and some other issues that we have to argue. We have to really get fixed. But one thing that caught me was when I went into the church, I got done preaching, they didn't raise an offering. On the way out, there's an offering bucket inside the wall, and the pastor says, hey, when you leave, put the money inside the bucket. On an annual basis, this church brings in close to $25 million, and they do not raise a specific offering. There's no time in their service or nothing like that. And in my head, I said, what, when, how can we get there?
Yes.
To where we don't have to preach a long sermon before we raise an offering. Our people are so good and so healthy that they want to give. And when I come to church, I want to give, not just my money, but my time, my resources, my influence. I want to help my church build, but it had to start at home. And I think if we can get that within a Black church to where we can help our families get good at home, man, we'll see offerings double. We'll see tithing offerings double. We'll see a surplus in income.
But one of the most critical things inspiring things that I saw is you posted, I don't know if this was right after the pandemic or in the pandemic, that you had bought your dream car.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
With no note.
No, pay cash.
Yes. What was the dream car?
It still is a dream car. It's a Bentley Continental.
The Bentley Continental.
Yes, sir.
So that's the day I joined your church. that's the day I said, I need to be under my fearless leader. Yeah, and there was absolutely no pushback around it. It's amazing to me that nobody ever asked the question, what is my dentist drive?
None.
What does my lawyer drive? Nobody ever asked, what does the CEO drive? But there's always a standard about what does the preacher drive.
Always.
You couldn't have had that Continental Bentley as the youth pastor.
I could not have.
Yes. I want to know in your mind, because you operate in finance, but you are a person of faith, where did we develop this stigma in this mind frame?
To this day, I still don't know. Because here's my thing. I don't care what you pull up in. Is the church healthy? Are you preaching the word of God? And are you doing the right things? I want to see my pastor and my leader winning and surviving. Why is it that it's okay for us to see, I won't say no names of any celebrities, but these celebrities drive these real nice cars, not representing the kingdom.
Right.
But we want the kingdom people to pull up in a Honda Accord. Not knocking a Honda Accord.
Right.
But shouldn't we look just as good, if not better than them, as long as we're stewarding our income correctly?
Yes.
And I struggled. When I posted that, I've never said this before in any other show. Lord Jesus, I'm going to get in trouble.
Thank you. Let's be clear. Yes.
I posted that a year after I had the car
No way.
because I was scared. I was scared of what the kingdom was going to say.
Wow.
That Anthony O'Neill is teaching biblical finances and he went and paid $300,000 cash for a car. I was like, wait in the world, what's going on? And one of our mutual friends, who's also a big name pastor, he said, Anthony, you need to do that. He said, because people need to see what it looks like to steward their money.
Yes.
And if you're saying, hey, don't borrow money, the problem with your previous situation, it didn't look enjoyable. It was like, you got to eat beans and rice. You got to do this. You can't really enjoy your life. But as a black man, if you tell me I got to drive a Honda Accord for the rest of my life to have financial freedom, I'm not listening to you.
Wow.
And I was like, but, I'm still tied to the church.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, just post it.
But we have somehow equated righteousness with a oath of poverty. Here are the two options. You are either a oath of poverty or you're a purveyor of prosperity.
Facts.
That there is no middle class in the kingdom.
There is not.
No, you either in the 1%
or
or it's good times.
Man, listen, I'm going to be over there.
Yes.
I'm going to be over there.
Yeah.
Because here's what I have learned too. Because I pull up in a Bentley, paid for it cash, I love seeing the younger generation, black men, my barber, love him dearly. He'll see this show. He ain't saved.
Yeah.
He hood.
Yeah.
But when I pull up and I tell him, hey,
but you got waves though. He did a good job.
Hey, man, he right.
No, he did it.
Now, we
gotta pray for him.
He's right.
See if he can make mine grow back. Mine is.
We don't need a miracle for you.
Oh, listen, believe in miracles. But go ahead.
We gonna need a miracle for you, man. But the conversations that start because of that.
Yeah.
He came to the church.
Wow.
And I think that's what people are missing. I've been making this kind of money since for a while.
Yes.
I lived way below my means. I saved up, bought it at the right time, bought it when I wouldn't regret it. Since then, I bought another dream car. I won't say that one, but I bought another one, paid for that one cash too. And when I pull up, what I love about it is when I step out of that car, I'm not a perfect individual, but I'm still representing the kingdom. Right. And when I can say, hey, man, I paid cash for that car through the grace of God, by answering his call for my life, by living out my purpose. And if you want to get into this place, I will show you. I met him when he was working at a barbershop a year ago. Today, he has his own barbershop. He comes to the church.
Yeah.
Very active in the church. Yeah. Still growing, still maturing. But look at the conversation. If I would have pulled up in something that wasn't appealing to him, he probably would not be listening to me. Because I can say I got the money, but everything that I have doesn't relate to us as within the culture.
Right. I'm not dealing with the legal issue. I'm not dealing with the moral issue. I'm not dealing with the sexual issue. I want to deal with the financial issue that everybody on social media is missing.
Okay.
And the financial issue I want to deal with, Anthony, is dealing with P. Diddy. On why, not about the parties, not about abuse, not about drugs, not about homosexuality. What I want to talk about is $100 million of refinance of these 3 homes that was just happened 60 days ago. How are you a brand ambassador? How are you a mogul? And you're over leveraged. So when you're dealing with balling on your level, it is not just about townhouses. It's not just about Lexus, but you got to deal with what is that economic integrity at every level of your life. My father's financial mentor, Bishop Adams, said to my dad years ago, wealth makes you more of who you are broke.
Absolutely.
What happens because we are making as a generation more money than our parents had.
Absolutely.
But we have less to show for it.
Absolutely.
How does that happen that you're $100 million over leveraged?
Over leveraged. It's because of lifestyle. And it's the fact we teach as a culture how to leverage other people's money, not how to live within our means.
Wow.
We teach, hey, since you have 10 million over here, turn this 10 million into 100 million, leverage somebody else's income. But we're not saying, hey, if you're going to leverage, keep in mind of what could happen in the future. He didn't see this coming. He was able to establish relationships that was able to lean on the strength of their name and their relationship, not on the strength of his income.
One of the most critical things that happened, there's an ongoing beef going on between Diddy and 50 Cent. And when the thing imploded, here's what's crazy. Ciroc went to 50 and asked him to take Diddy's brand ambassadorship.
Right.
Diddy said to them, almost as if he's been listening to your podcast, I don't do brand endorsements, I do ownership.
Absolutely.
And what has happened in social media, people have taken exposure to mean currency.
Yep.
And those are not the same thing. So they're Instagram rich and Bank of America poor. We are now have a greater number of African Americans are in the stock market than we've ever had.
Yeah.
How would that even be in the realm of possibility?
Number one is because from what I'm seeing with the African American culture, we're the last person to learn what's coming in the future. Prime example, AI right now. So they're saying if black people are not tapping into AI, we are going to lose out on income. One thing I'm doing within my business is I literally hired someone and it is their job to only find us AI stuff.
Wow.
That's it. It is his job to literally say, you know what, Anthony, we're going to use this in the business. We're going to use this to help the infrastructure of the Neatness Network. So that's one reason why they're saying by 2036, some are saying by 2054, that we would have zero to negative net worth because we're the last person to learn what's coming in the future. Number two, consumer debt. We're not buying homes. We're not getting into real estate. We are literally just surviving. I believe that black people, we're not really wasting our money. We're trying to survive. Trying to survive meaning we're not really taking the opportunity to learn how to generate other income. And so those are the two main reasons when we look at the study, they're saying we're not tapping into the AI generation. By not tapping into that, we're losing jobs, we're losing income, we're being placed by automatic machines rather than learning what AI can do and taking on that job. And then two, we're not really taking control of our finances. This year should have already been planned out a long time ago. So once you arrange the vision, then this is how you build wealth, right? You got to render the strategy. Out of all of my millionaires, one billionaire mentor and friend of mine, everything that he teaches me, and when I call him and ask him a question, what's the strategy? He said, Anthony, I didn't build this wealth because I got up every single day and I worked 24 hours a day. No. When I made money, I put a strategy in place to teach my money how to make more money.
Wow.
And so for me, that's what I'm teaching young people. And that's what I tell everyone is, hey, you really got to sit back and render the strategy, render the system that's going to produce your money. In the daytime, I'm making money. At sleep, my money is making me money. That's the strategy for me. And then the end, I know you said 3, then the end is now act. I believe African Americans, we're the most creative group of people in the world. White people can't touch us. There's no other race that can touch us. But the problem is we don't get the right strategy and we don't know how to execute and move. And so if we can really get the right strategy in place, I think the roles will flip. Roles will be there, right?
Did you see that Dubai released yesterday?
Yes, sir. I saw
currency that's in gold.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That you can't use it in a store.
Can't use it in the store.
You just have it. I'm digressing. So go right ahead.
But you know, there's so much to life. And so for me, when I wake up every single day, I reset everyone celebrates January 1. I celebrate July 1st. That's my birthday.
Oh, wow.
And I'm always thinking about what's next for Anthony O'Neal for this year, for the next year. I'm always thinking about years in advance. I'm always thinking about the strategy. I'm always thinking about what's going to take me and my family to the next level. I don't care about, what shoes I have on. Don't care about what cars I'm driving. I'm thinking about how do I position myself at 39 years old, turning 40 this year, a single man, successful. The last thing I want to do is meet my wife and I'm not prepared to build something with her.
Yeah.
And I think if young people, we can maximize our youth and our season that we're currently in, our 60, 70, 80-year-old self would say, thank you so much. Because if we really look at it, there was a study that came out and said that 73% of African Americans at the age of 80, when they unfortunately pass away, 73% of them don't have an estate plan. They don't have an adequate amount of life insurance.
Wow.
So they're leaving their families with bills and partial benefits.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, that should not be the case for me. So I'm already maxed out on all my life insurance policies. I'm already thinking about what's inside of my estate plan, what's inside of my trust, to where if something was to happen to me today, my family's taken care of it at 80, or we're there, surpass it. So those are the 3 things I would tell a lot of people, not just young people, but a lot of people, is you earning. Now, here's my thing. Everyone is trying to earn more money. I don't care about the money. I want to earn more time back.
Wow.
That's what I'm striving for.
I've never heard that before.
I'm not trying to earn more money.
Yeah.
I'm trying to earn my time back. I don't want to have to wake up every single day and I got to go to work for 4, 8, 10, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
No, sir. I want to wake up one day and I get to choose if I want to work an hour today.
No, that's great.
I don't want to have to get up and exchange my time for money. I want to position myself to where my money buys back my time.
No, that's
That's
great.
the end goal for me.
John Hope Bryant said something the other day. He said entrepreneurs work 18 hours a day so they don't have to go to work. Best book that has never been published, you heard it right here, is How to Make It Without a Mentor. A whole lot of people have these ideas, have these dreams, have these concepts, but they don't have $1 million friends or $1 billion friends or entrepreneurial, industrious friends. How do you make it, Anthony? And I don't have this person to call or to email or to take the lunch. Tell me, how do I make it with no mentor?
You do. You do have a mentor. Okay. You don't have them on your phone, but you got the mentor. If you're living in Atlanta, you're not coming to New Birth, you're crazy.
Say that again. Y'all freeze that.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Yes.
Like, if you're living in Atlanta and you're saying, I need a spiritual father, I need a spiritual mentor, and you're not coming to Atlanta, you're crazy. Here's why. I don't have to talk to you on the phone to get your anointing, to get your touch, to get your wisdom. You preach it every single Sunday.
Wow.
You're talking about it on the podcast. You're giving me the information. I think people forget the first access point to a mentor is get in the room. Oftentimes we miss out on mentors because we think we miss out because I can't physically touch or physically call Dr. Jamal Bryant.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I knew you for years before I met you.
Yeah.
I didn't get to talk to you until I got into the room.
Yeah.
When I got into the room and God saw fit for you to be in my life specifically, that's when it happened. But God is not going to just say, you know what? I'm going to put Dr. Jamal Bryant on your heart. And I'm just sitting out there on the street. No, I had to get inside the room. I think a lot of people miss that opportunity. Get in the room, listen to the podcast, read the book. When they have a conference, get to the conference. And from there, allow God to open up those doors.
Kanye West was able to amass this without having a good name.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that is because we have equated success with perfection.
Right.
You know, he's had more cancellations than Jet Magazine.
Hey, man, listen.
When it is that you know what it is that your value is.
Absolutely.
And how you bring that to the table.
Absolutely.
You still can commandeer. To walk across the street and say, I'm leaving Adidas.
Yep.
I'm not even talking to Reebok.
Nope.
I'm going straight to Nike.
Absolutely.
And you're going to pay me what I'm worth and add tax after the entire Jewish community has canceled you. That's bravado at a whole nother place. I'm telling you that at the end of the day, they're going to have to put Kanye West at Wharton School of Business to say, who did it? I think that aiding and abetting to the crime of gentrification, the guilt is on the hands of the black church. I'm going to say that again. The only way black neighborhoods are being gentrified is that black church is on that corner.
Yeah.
But they not buying up them houses.
They're not.
Yeah, so forget the NAACP, forget the Urban League, forget Operation Push.
Yeah.
If the church was buying out the block,
come on, man.
there wouldn't be any gentrification.
There wouldn't be. There would not be.
Yeah.
But how do we get there, though?
Yeah, I think that it is a partnership between what it is that you were doing.
Yeah.
And what it is that we saying is right across the street from the old black churches, those of you not from the inner city.
Yeah.
In rural country communities, the black church would own the cemetery. You start driving out into the fields, the biggest cemetery was in the backyard of that black church.
So we can own death.
Where death is.
But we don't own where life is.
Yes.
That's not even biblical.
No. So right down the street from the church is a check cashing station.
Sure is.
Is the liquor store.
Sure is.
Is the pawn shop.
Sure is.
So we seeing the for sale signs. And I don't even want to deal with the fact that now for these black churches, the congregants are only driving to the hood to go to church.
Absolutely.
So if we want to stop gentrification, the church has got to really see itself as a real estate development office.
No, I think so too. And the church has to have more ownership in the community.
Yes.
We got to buy homes. We got to bring up more schools. We need to actually own buildings.
Yes.
Like I'm talking about, I know several pastors, not a whole lot, but several, a couple of them in Jacksonville, a couple of them in Chicago, who actually own business. What is his name? I forgot his name. His son's name is David. But they
In
own
Jacksonville?
No, in Chicago. They own Bill Winston.
Yes.
They own the whole situation.
Oh, yes.
They're getting paid rent from I'm like, okay, that's kingdom.
That's kingdom, but it's also background. So what people don't know is Bill Winston came out of banking.
Yeah.
He came out of corporate life.
Yes,
and
sir.
I want to take a moment and say Bill Winston came out of the AME church. So I'm going to take credit for Bill Winston. But no, it's the mind frame. One of the things I've been harping on, I teach a doctoral group at Payne Seminary.
Okay.
And one of the things that I harp on is seminaries don't teach business.
They don't.
I got to New Birth, I didn't know what I was doing.
Wow.
I had no plot, strategy, or understanding
Yeah.
on how to eradicate debt.
Yeah.
And we forget that every disciple was by vocation.
Absolutely.
They had to have some level of experience before they walked into ministry.